under demonic watch.
You must see that this is a critical time, that the Bible has made so many areas open to us. Demonic watch is an evil spirit or demons or evil persons that monitors one's progress, behaviors in our total life. The business is to monitor your total life, monitor your marriage, monitor you, be around you, find himself comfortable with you, to make you comfort to accept him or accept her around you, and he will change your understanding that is normal for such powers to be around you. But what is the purpose? The purpose is to monitor your total life and behavior and activities. The purpose is to inflict hurt to you, inflict hurt to persons, and to cause pains, into families, person's life. Sometimes it is called masquerading. Masquerading is the power that hide under a thing. You know, some of you that used to see your dead ones in the dream, you say, yes, my mom has come, my late mom has come, I saw him in the dream. It is a familiar spirit that masquerading, carrying the image of your loved one in order to carry evil activities in your life. So you must say no to all those things. And you must understand that this time you are the servant of God and the son of God. And the Spirit of God that is dwelling in you is the spirit of warfare. The moment you refuse to fight, you become a slave. The moment you refuse to fight, you become a slave. The moment you refuse to know how to say no to the gift and the presence of the evil one, you enter into captivity. Captivity is by acceptance. If you accept whatever you accept will put you into captivity. For instance, if you accept to be having sexual intercourse with someone that is not married to you, and then you might call it any name. You know, English has a lot of good names, so to call sin. The moment you are doing that, he becomes your master, and before you know it, you cannot withdraw. So the devil has several ways of getting himself close to you. I want to take you now, 1 Samuel 19, 11 to 14. Saul sent somebody to watch or monitor David. Saul was a king who failed God, who disappointed God. In the process of disappointing God, God raised David, a young man. And God anointed David to take over from Saul. And Saul got to know that David is anointed to take over him. So God gave David a kind of wisdom that Saul didn't have. And that wisdom, David used it rightly and dealt with some enemies. And then Saul was threatened. And the Bible said that Saul now sent somebody into the camp of David in order to kill David, in order to destroy David. Nobody is listening to me here. My dear, it's not only David that has an enemy in the camp. I want you to know so many times the maid in your house is become an agent. Your friends you brought into your house becomes an agent. I was looking at something one day and I saw that a young lady got married to a very rich man. And then she was with some friends. And one day, one of his friends decided to come, not knowing the friend was targeting, her husband. And the friend came to her house. And she left her house to her friend and gave her friend every free hand, apart from the bedroom. But the friend came with charms and all sorts of jars in order to track the man to herself. Eventually, so many terrible things were happening under the nose of the woman. She never knew. Before she knew it, the woman got the man into their matrimonial bed. And before we know it, the man started hating the wife. Before we know it, the marriage got broken. Who is in your house And how manage you allow such one to be in your house? Have you really, estrayed the person you brought into your house? Some of you will get a maid, you don't check that maid very well. You don't even know what made the maid to leave wherever she was to come to your house. I know of several stories about several people by God's grace, I minister to. One maid came into a woman's house, and then at a time, the woman came in from US with the family, and then one day, the maid collected some poison from the neighbor who has been an enemy to that family, and paid the maid handsomely, paid the maid hugely. The maid have not seen that kind of money before, and the maid collected it and poisoned the food of the madam and all her children. They came back from work, and as they sat down to eat, the maid had already packed all her things to go. Oh my God, they are not talking to me here. Do you know that the whole family wiped away? Because the maid was there, but it was not checked spiritually. The maid was not supervised. Somebody got a maid, and then the maid wasn't supervised. Secondly, some of you will get a maid in your house, you maltreat your maid. When you maltreat your maid, the spirit of wickedness will enter into your maid. The spirit of wickedness. I also know of a family, the man was so rich and was working in a very big oil company. And the wife was so wicked, very, very wicked. The wife was so wicked and so proud. Oh my God. Do you know that one day, the gate man was an old man, very old man, but has no children, has nothing, decided to be at the gate. That man supposed to be a grandfather to that woman. Because of the wealth of the woman does not recognize or regard anybody. And then one day, she came back from market and was calling the old man to come and remove the things in the boot. The old man could not come fast. She took her hand and hit on the old man's head. And then the old man counted it for her and said, "You have been doing this. I am an old man. If you needed somebody to help you do that, you needed a young man." The woman came and slapped the old man. The old man looked at this woman and wept and took sand from the ground and said, "Is it not because God has lifted you up and your husband that you don't value poor people and old people? From today, as long as the sand remaineth, I am placing a curse on you and on your husband. He will lose his job. You people are going to be worse than my condition." He took the sand and poured on that woman. And that woman didn't understand the implication of that. Most of you today, you didn't understand some statement that was made on you by your mistakes. Some people made some statements on you by the way you stepped up on their lives. And then you didn't call it anything because you are not in need of those things they spoke. And then do you know what happened? The man came back 2 days later, he was sacked. And then he was transferred to a village. And before we know it, he lost his job. And he lost that beautiful house. He lost all his cars. He returned back to, an apartment that he could afford at that time. And within a year, he could not afford to pay on another apartment. Then he returned back to the village. In returning back, they became very poor. But this woman did not tell the husband her transaction with the gate man until they met me in Abuja. They went to a church. The husband became a pastor. And becoming a pastor, the curse did not break. The curse didn't break at all. Honey, whatever you have done in the past does not change that you are a pastor. It doesn't change until you know where the rain started beating you. If you don't know where the rain started beating you, you wouldn't know how it's going to dry. Somebody have to talk to me here. So on that day, they were doing prayers and they had about faith clinic in Abuja. By that time, I've relocated from Lagos to Abuja. While I was there, they came and I was praying with them and trying to know how a pastor could not feed the children. A pastor who has such qualifications, a PhD holder is looking for money to eat. Oh my God, it was terrible. I did a spiritual mapping. In the process of that spiritual mapping, my dear friends, can you guess what I saw? I saw this woman, the wife of this man, driving a Mercedes 500 with other women. And they are in that car. They carried her husband and dropped her husband, on a desert. I was just monitoring that. And later on, she came back and drove that car off with her friends. And they were enjoying. I called her. I said, the husband was there. I said, what is your gain in this physical poverty? But spiritually, you are rich. Spiritually, you are an influential woman. But here you are poor. And what is the essence of taking your husband to desert? Desert is a place nothing good happens. Desert is a place where poverty, scorching heat takes care of people. She said, Pastor, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, well, you are going to know what I'm talking about today. In the process, I did a spiritual mapping again. I asked her, tell me your encounter with an old woman, an old man that has a boy hair who was at your gate. Tell us so that we can help you now. And your husband doesn't know what stopped him from working. And then by God's grace, she narrated her experience. And what was the experience? What I told you, that the man placed a curse on her. And that was the day the husband wept and even wanted to kill himself. I said, no. They started looking for that man. I told them, go and look for that man. He is the only one that has right to set you free. They went to the village of that man, but that man died. Because this didn't happen after so many years. The man died and then they could not get the man. But I did something very unusual. I told them to confess their sin to anybody in that family. They should confess it to the second person in that family so that the person will forgive them on behalf of that man. They went back. And immediately they did that and they came back. I ministered deliverance to them. And then by God's grace, that woman got blessed. And then he started getting job again. But this time he was getting contract. So what are we talking about here? The demon that old man placed upon the family became a watch for failure. Anytime a curse is placed upon somebody, demons are released. No matter where you go in the whole world, leaving Nigeria to America, whatever, it's going to be the same story. Because there are something watching over your life for evil. So it's not about running around, it's about finding out what is watching over our lives for evil. I want you to understand this. The purpose of evil watchmen is to gather information from you, to facilitate spiritual attacks, to steal blessings and infect sicknesses and sabotage your life. I want to show you something again. The Bible also told us in 2 Samuel 18:26, the Bible said the evil watchman on the tower, is like witchcraft. This one now, this one is the monitoring powers of witchcraft. And we're going to take these topics one by one. And when witchcraft are around you, they will monitor you. They get informations. And when they do that to destroy you. So many of you that don't know that, the best time to pray, if you are living in an environment that invested with witchcraft, or you are born from a witchcraft family, honey, don't stop fighting. Are you accusing me? Are you accusing my family? It's not accusation. We are talking about your foundation. We are talking about your foundation. We are talking about you. We are talking about your progress. Have you not struggled enough? Have you not cried enough? Have you not asked God, why me? Have your marriage not broken enough? Can you tell me why at your age you are not getting married? Who blocked your way? Who knows about you? Who is monitoring you? Who is the one that have been watching over you for evil? This is the time you should be angry with your family, angry with the power that is attacking you, not with the prophet. It's not the time to be angry with the prophet. They are not talking to me here. Evil powers from witchcraft is so terrible. It's one of the most terrible monitoring gadgets in the whole world, because they can use anything to monitor you. They can find their way in your house by midnight while you are fast asleep. They can sit with you and enter your house. It's a man you know, it's a woman you know. Oh my God, may God help us this morning. It's somebody you know very well. I lived in a house. I lived in a house in Lagos. Hallelujah. In that house I lived in Eba, every morning by 4 a.m. you hear a sweep. I saw somebody sweeping my compound. If I open the window and look at, I wouldn't see anything, but I'll be hearing that somebody is sweeping. And the other time you will hear a pounding. I see somebody is pounding inside the mortar. But at that time, nobody was cooking. 4 a.m. Who will cook by that time? They will be pounding. Sometimes you just see like a mighty snake inside my, roof, and then the heavy snake will be moving. We have broken that roof several times, and we go up, we didn't see nothing. Sometimes you find out that as if a heavy man, a giant, is walking on the roof. The way it will be walking, you think that the roof is going to fall down. So many times you will hear cooking in the kitchen. Some noises, plates will be falling. So many things is falling. That house was a haunted house by witchcraft. Too many times when you open the window, you will see some magnetic object. You feel a magnetic object magneting you from the window. You see me, I will turn. Then by that time I'll start praying. I'm talking to somebody here. So too many times I will hear a particular demonic bed. A particular bed coming at a particular position every morning, praying, doing that kind of a spell and incantation, or whatever they call it, witchcraft manipulation. You just hear the bed, a particular bed, either or night bed, come and begin to cry that cry, and when it comes, I begin to pray. You can't understand all I'm telling you. Sometimes it's bat. You will see bat everywhere in my compound, and you'll be asking yourself, what is the bat doing? What is the bat doing in my compound? I know bat doesn't come out when there is light, but this one light does not deal with this evil bat. I'm telling you, these are the monitoring agents of witchcraft. Monitoring agent of witchcraft. Sometimes you see something like cat, coming into the house. Even when you are throwing stones on them, they are looking at you. More especially black and white cat. And when you see them, this are monitoring gadget. And apart from witchcraft, there are also some occultic monitoring mirrors, crystal balls. It's monitor you. Some monitoring mirrors, monitoring brooms. Some things like, they use some things like card to monitor you. So use something like dog to monitor you. Sometimes they use rat, they use wolves, insects. It depends on whatever they do. So when you see all those things, don't take it for granted. If you flee to your house and there's one gecko, you flee to your house, you refuse to die, then go straight and kill it and go into warfare. I lived in a house that when I'm discussing business or ministry work, you will see one war gecko come down from anywhere to my back and put eyes on us. Sometimes you look at it and say, but when you see the kind of eyes the thing gazes on us, until one day God told me that thing is taking information. And everything I discuss with my workers, everything I discuss in business, as long as that gecko has come down, and the moment you turn to kill it, it enter inside the curtain. Before you know, you won't see it anywhere anymore. And then every day it's like that. we started praying. That one day that made me I cry, because I had a contract from South Korea to send them solid minerals. So I was now discussing how we are going to make that contract to work. That day in the afternoon, World Gecko appears in the night. There was the broad daylight. This World Gecko appeared from somewhere and then put eyes. He knows where to position. Put his eyes, and at the end of it all, I pursued it. I didn't kill it. It disappeared. My dear, I lost that huge contract of 17 million. I mean, $1 million. So you see that we are living in a world where everything wants to know what you are doing and want to pull you down. So I want you to look at this. There are some people in book of Job, chapter 13, verse 11. There are some people that use feet to monitor your feet. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. I have here. Some people use their feet. I also know a woman who always has miscarriages. Each time she's pregnant, she has miscarriages. Every time she's pregnant, she has miscarriages. So she came to the faith clinic, and then God told me that somebody is collecting water where she is bathing. I don't know, how can somebody come to where I'm bathing and collect water? So I told her to monitor which bedroom she uses, and the back of your bedroom when you are bathing, somebody monitors, somebody collects, your water with leg. So she was bathing that day, and then because it's face me, I face you, she now remember what I said. She now looked from the window. She saw her neighbor, and her neighbor put leg where the water was coming out from that small pipe. Her neighbor put leg there. She now saw the neighbor and quickly wore her cloth and came out and held the neighbor. And now asked the neighbor, what are you doing where I am bathing? You are a woman like me, so what are you doing? What have you been doing with the water I use in bathing? What have you been doing? So people came out of the compound, because the woman told her, as long as I live, you will never carry a baby in this house. My dear, when somebody tells you that, he has told you all you're supposed to know. That as long as he lives, you can never carry a baby. Some of them will say, as long as he lives, you can never marry. Some of them will say, as long as I live, you can never have a good job. They don't just say it ordinarily. They have demon in them that possesses them and that wants them to do evil to you. So that was how the people in the yard gathered and forced her into her room. Come and see where she kept some bottles, small water. When she take it, she will go to her room and use a toilet tissue and collect the water, soak it and put it somewhere. You could see a lot of it. And then she confessed, and then I told the woman to pack out of that compound. The woman packed out and then took in. I want you to understand that these things we are saying, we are not joking over it. You are not meant to be, monitored. God is not God that wants his children to be monitored. And I want you to know that if you are monitored, something is wrong with you. I also want you to know that from what I'm going to share with you, God has made you a commander. You don't have to be a prey. Tell somebody, I am a commander, I'm not a prey.
I am a commander.
You don't need to be a prey. You don't need to be a victim. If you refuse to be a commander, you become a victim. Honestly, in Genesis chapter 1, 26 and 28, God said, let us make man in our own image, and let him be, let him take dominion over all things. You are made in God's image. You are equally in charge of the physical earth and the spiritual earth. Therefore, you don't allow yourself to be monitored and to be brought low. You are a commander in the name of Jesus Christ. And I also want you to know that the Bible said in the book of Job, you are a commander. It said, command you morning. Command your morning. Whatever you commanded in your morning, in your night, in your afternoon, is what you will see. If you don't wake up and command your morning, if you don't wake up, if you don't command your afternoon, if you don't command your evening or your night, anything can happen to you and your family. So God wants us to know we are in charge of our day. We are in charge of our day. We are in charge of our day. Our brethren Muslim people, they used to pray 3-5 times in a day. They know the power in prayer. They know what it is. If you are there, you don't command in the morning, you don't command in the afternoon, you don't command in the evening. Look at what the Bible said in Psalm 121. It said the sun will not strike you in the day and the moon will not strike you at night. Imagine when you don't command the sun to honor you, the sun to honor you and respect you. I mean, if anybody has used the sun against you, when the sun comes at its peak, you are going to be in trouble. So God wants you to know that you are a commander, and everything God created honors you. Honors you. They are at your command. Even nature is at your command. Even nature is at your command. Somebody have to listen to me now. Even nature is at your command. That's why be careful what you say about your life. You could be careful that comes out of your mouth, because anything you say, the Bible said you will have what you say. Whatever you say will run your life, will form the fabric of your life, and will form what you will see on that day. You are a commander, and that's why the Bible said in Psalm 42 verse 8 that the Lord will command his loving kindness in your daylight. Only listen to this very carefully. Command is military in nature. To command is military in nature. To command means you are a military person. God didn't ask you to beg. God asked you to command. And remember, if you continue, God does not beg anybody to do anything. He commands you. He said, you will keep on my commandment and my status. Then I will bless you. Remember, God doesn't bless anybody except you keep his commandment, except you keep his laws. Only listen to me. If you don't stand on your commanding authority as a child of God, the devil will not respect you. If you are there, every little thing, you are weeping tears, you are crying, you are shedding tears, you are looking up, you are even accusing God, you are telling God, why me, why this, why that, you will not change. Nothing will change. Nothing will change. God does not change anything with tears. God does not change anything by complaining. God does not change anything by crying. God wants you to know that your day depends on you. You have to program your day the way you want it, because while you are sleeping at night, the witches have programmed the day for you. And if you wake up and you begin to enter into the day without changing it, putting it the way it will fit you, it will suit you. Have you ever woke in the morning and said, son, as you are rising this morning, let my breakthrough come, let my light shine? Have you ever woken up in the morning and said, today is the day God has made, I shall rejoice in it. Nothing shall provoke me. I shall not have enemies around me. Have you ever woke up in the day and said, every projections that have ever been projected in the night, today I pull it down in the name of Jesus Christ? Psalm 91, have you ever settled it? It said that God said that anything that flies in the new day, and the evil that walks at night, there are evil that walks at night, there are things that flies in the new day. And if you don't know what to do, if you are not under the shelter of the Most High God, these things can hit you. Psalm 91 equally explain it, that 1,000 will fall by your side. Imagine where 1,000 is fighting one man, and he said 10,000 by your right hand. Imagine when 10,000 is fighting a man. What are you waiting for? Why are you surprised? Even at the Gethsemane, Jesus casted 6,000 demons out of one man. Out of one man, called legion. Legion is a military terminology showing that the 6,000 of demons in one man. Imagine that. So when the Bible said 10,000 will fall by your side, how can they fall if you are not a commander? How can they fall if you don't know that you are at the center of war? How can they fall when you cannot know that you are surrounded by the wicked ones? So God wants you to resume as a warrior. Resume on your whatever you are. what the plans of God is his loving kindness to come to you by day, not failure, not shame, not disgrace, not divorce, not sickness, not hatred, not bitterness, not retrogression. Whatever that is loving kindness is what God programmed in the day. Who is changing it? Who has decided to change the loving kindness of God for me? Who is changing it to cause? Where is they monitoring me from? God said, for blessings I bless you, for multiplications I multiplied you. Why are you barren? Why are you not multiplied? This is the day the Lord has made. I want you to get something very, very clear. The Bible said in Psalm 121, said, the sun shall not smite me in the day. Have you woken up and said, you son, as you waken up this morning, you shall not smite me. You shall not smite my business. You shall not smite my family. Smite is not scorch. It's not about scorching heat. It's talking about the spirit of the sun that is working. Oh my God, they are not getting this. If you look at the scripture very well, there are people that are worshiping the sun. There are so many people that worship the sun. If you look at it very, very well. So the Bible knows that there are people worshiping the sun. If you come to Nigeria, where I am, you will see people worship the sun. You know, they call it Anyanwu. They worship the sun. So imagine if you are in such a family and then they program sun against you. How do you survive it? How do you survive it? I want to close this message by letting you know that sometimes families are dedicated to a deity. A particular deity that the family is dedicated to might be the deity that is watching over the family. Imagine when a family is dedicated to a deity in the village. Your grandfather dedicated the entire family to a deity, and that deity, that family, that kindred is going to be